Back in 2019, OpenAI and Microsoft inked a deal.
We want to build tools that lift that up, that make it so that new people can create better art, better content, write better novels that we all enjoy.
You were one of the big contributors early on.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
The origins of OpenAI trace back to a dinner conversation in 2015, where leading minds in tech discussed the potential risks and rewards of artificial general intelligence, AGI. The consensus was clear. AGI had the potential to transform humanity, for better or worse. They believed the technology should not be controlled by a few corporations or governments, but developed transparently, with a focus on safety and equity. This conversation catalyzed the formation of OpenAI in December 2015. The organization was launched with a bold mission: to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. It would operate as a nonprofit committed to open collaboration and sharing its breakthroughs with the world. The co-founders were a powerhouse group. Elon Musk, known for Tesla and SpaceX, brought public visibility and deep concerns about unchecked AI. Sam Altman, president of Y Combinator, became the company's first CEO and later its face. Greg Brockman, Stripe's former CTO, provided engineering leadership. Ilya Sutskever, a top neural net researcher, brought scientific credibility from his time at Google Brain. Wojciech Zaremba, another deep learning expert, completed the technical dream team. They were joined by other researchers and engineers drawn by the mission, not the money. OpenAI's initial announcement stated it would release all patents and research openly. The founders pledged a total of $1 billion, though only a portion was committed immediately. Roughly $130 million was actually invested early on. The company's foundational idea wasn't just to build powerful AI, it was to build it safely, transparently, and ethically. But this idealistic beginning would soon be challenged by financial realities and technological ambition. In its early years, OpenAI operated as a pure nonprofit with a research-first approach. The team produced high-impact papers on reinforcement learning, robotics, unsupervised learning, and generative modeling. They built open-source tools like OpenAI Gym and OpenAI Baselines, which became staples in academic and industry research. Their transparency and commitment to open science drew praise from the AI community. OpenAI Gym allowed researchers to benchmark AI agents across a variety of tasks, while OpenAI Universe attempted to create a platform for training agents on a wide array of real-world software environments, like games and websites. These efforts reflected the company's emphasis on general intelligence, not narrow AI systems tailored to specific tasks. But the ambitions of AGI required increasingly large models and datasets, along with access to supercomputing power that was enormously expensive. By 2018, it became evident that staying competitive with tech giants like Google and Facebook would be financially impossible without a new funding model. There were also internal tensions. Elon Musk, who had originally been a prominent backer, left the board in early 2018. The official reason was a potential conflict of interest with Tesla's AI development, particularly in autonomous driving. However, later reports suggested disagreements over the direction and competitiveness of OpenAI's progress. As OpenAI continued to scale its research, especially in large language models, the need for computing power escalated rapidly. Training these models could cost tens of millions of dollars. To stay at the forefront, the organization had to make a pivotal decision: abandon its pure nonprofit status and embrace a hybrid structure that could attract investors without fully compromising its original mission. In 2019, OpenAI underwent a controversial transformation. The nonprofit restructured into what it termed a capped profit model, technically a for-profit subsidiary governed by the nonprofit parent company. This new entity, OpenAI LP, would allow the company to raise money from outside investors while promising to limit their returns to 100 times their original investment. It was a compromise: access to venture capital without becoming fully profit-driven. Sam Altman and Greg Brockman emphasized that this structure was necessary to fund the development of AGI. They argued that AGI could require billions in capital and the involvement of thousands of engineers. Traditional fundraising methods couldn't support the scale and speed required. This shift raised eyebrows across the AI and ethics communities. Critics questioned whether it was possible to maintain a mission of long-term safety while seeking financial returns, even with caps. The capped profit model was unprecedented, and many viewed it as a signal that OpenAI was prioritizing dominance over openness. Around the same time, OpenAI released GPT-2, a language model with 1.5 billion parameters. Although not yet revolutionary in hindsight, GPT-2 generated convincing and coherent paragraphs of text, sparking immediate controversy. OpenAI initially refused to release the full model due to concerns about misinformation, spam, and impersonation. It was one of the first times the company restrained open publishing, triggering a debate about whether OpenAI was truly open anymore. Eventually, OpenAI did release GPT-2 in stages while preparing something even more powerful, GPT-3. Behind the scenes, they were building partnerships and infrastructure to scale up for the next phase of AI dominance. In July 2019, OpenAI announced a $1 billion investment from Microsoft, solidifying what would become one of the most pivotal alliances in the AI industry. The deal granted Microsoft exclusive licensing rights to OpenAI's models, while OpenAI would build its technology on Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. This partnership allowed OpenAI to tap into vast GPU clusters and infrastructure resources, essentially for training models at scale. The relationship was more than financial. Microsoft effectively became OpenAI's deployment partner, integrating OpenAI models into products like Word, Excel, and Bing. By 2023, OpenAI's capabilities powered Microsoft Copilot, transforming how millions of users interact with productivity software. In 2023, Microsoft reportedly invested another $10 billion, boosting OpenAI's valuation to an estimated $29 billion. The capital infusion wasn't just about training models. It enabled OpenAI to expand its staff, improve tooling, and support enterprise-grade applications. In return, Microsoft would receive a 75% share of profits until it recouped its investment, after which it would retain a 49% stake in OpenAI's for-profit arm. The partnership marked OpenAI's transition from a research-focused entity to a commercial juggernaut. Businesses began adopting OpenAI's API to build chatbots, content tools, and even legal and medical software. Developers could now access cutting-edge AI with just a few lines of code. This era also introduced Codex, the model behind GitHub Copilot, and began OpenAI's exploration into multimodal models capable of processing both text and images. But rapid growth brought new scrutiny. Questions emerged about how tightly integrated OpenAI had become with Microsoft, and whether OpenAI was becoming less independent than its mission promised. Everything changed in November 2022, when OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public. Built on GPT 3.5, ChatGPT brought controversial AI to the mainstream. Users could ask questions, write essays, get coding help, or just chat for free. The viral success was immediate. Within 5 days, ChatGPT crossed 1 million users. Within 2 months, it had over 100 million active users, becoming the fastest growing consumer application in internet history. Unlike GPT-3's earlier release via API, ChatGPT was a fully interactive chatbot with a polished UI. For many, it felt like science fiction had arrived. Educators, writers, marketers, and developers flocked to the tool. Some saw it as revolutionary, others as deeply concerning. Teachers worried about cheating. Coders feared job disruption. Governments raised red flags about misinformation, privacy, and regulation. In March 2023, OpenAI followed up with GPT-4, a major leap in capability. The multimodal model could analyze images, reason more effectively, and write more coherently. Paired with tools like Code Interpreter and DALL-E 3, OpenAI was quickly building a productivity ecosystem around ChatGPT. Monetization came through ChatGPT Plus, offering users premium access to GPT-4 for $20 a month. Enterprise licensing deals followed, with major corporations integrating OpenAI into customer service, research, and internal tooling. By late 2023, OpenAI was reportedly on track for over $1 billion in annualized revenue. Yet success wasn't without complications. Users began to notice hallucinations, instances where ChatGPT would confidently provide false information. OpenAI ramped up its reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF, efforts to improve factuality, but the balance between creativity and accuracy remained a challenge. This was OpenAI's most visible and transformative phase, but behind the scenes, things were becoming turbulent. Despite its meteoric rise, OpenAI was facing mounting pressure from critics, competitors, and even within its own leadership. The company's increasing secrecy, especially around GPT-4's training data and model architecture, sparked concerns among AI safety advocates and researchers. The organization that once promised full transparency was now operating more like a traditional tech company. Then came the November 2023 crisis. In a shocking move, OpenAI's nonprofit board of directors fired CEO Sam Altman. The reasons cited were vague, concerns over his communication and alignment with OpenAI's mission, but the lack of explanation ignited immediate backlash. Over 700 employees, virtually the entire company, signed a letter demanding Altman's return and threatening to quit. Microsoft, OpenAI's closest partner, offered to hire them all. After 5 days of chaos, Altman was reinstated and the board was reshaped, with new members more aligned with the company's vision. The incident exposed a major flaw in OpenAI's governance. A small nonprofit board had the authority to remove the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company with little accountability. It also raised fundamental questions. Who gets to control AGI? Should it be a nonprofit, a board, investors, government? In the months following, OpenAI pushed forward. It launched ChatGPT Team, and Enterprise ramped up development of autonomous agents and teased early versions of personal AI assistants. Yet, critics argued the company was racing toward AGI without sufficient oversight. Sam Altman has since spoken openly about AGI timelines, suggesting it could arrive within years. Whether OpenAI can align such a powerful force with humanity's interests remains an open and urgent question. OpenAI's financial evolution mirrors its technological one, rapid, exponential, and fueled by high expectations. Though it began as a nonprofit with modest resources, OpenAI has become a commercial behemoth in less than a decade. In 2021, OpenAI earned just $28 million, primarily through its early API usage. The following year, with the expansion of GPT-3 tools and the ChatGPT preview launch in November, that figure surged to around $200 million, a more than 7 times increase in just 12 months. The real breakthrough came in 2023, following the release of ChatGPT and GPT-4. OpenAI's products, ChatGPT Plus, enterprise APIs, and integration into Microsoft's ecosystem pushed annual revenue to about $1.6 billion. The company revealed it had hit $1 billion in realized revenue by year's end, with more aggressive growth projected for 2024. By 2024, revenue nearly doubled again to $3.7 billion, with ChatGPT alone contributing around $2.7 billion of that total. Despite this explosive growth, OpenAI was not yet profitable. It reported an estimated $5 billion loss that year, driven by the enormous costs of computing infrastructure, talent acquisition, and long-term AGI development. As of mid-2025, OpenAI reached a staggering $10 billion annual run rate, nearly doubling from its position at the end of 2024. That number doesn't even include all revenue from licensing deals with Microsoft or some bespoke government and enterprise contracts. If momentum holds, OpenAI is on track to hit $12.7 billion in revenue by the end of 2025. Looking further out, OpenAI's internal forecasts are eye-opening. They anticipate $29.4 billion in revenue by 2026 and a colossal $125 billion by 2029. Despite this scale, OpenAI doesn't expect to turn a profit unless it clears $125 billion in cumulative revenue, meaning years of continued investment and reported losses. The projected total losses from 2023 through 2028? Nearly $44 billion. This unprecedented growth reflects not just demand for AI tools, but the belief that OpenAI is building the foundations for the next computing revolution. Investors, customers, and critics alike are watching closely to see whether those numbers turn into sustainable leadership or costly overreach. Today, OpenAI stands at a crossroads. It's no longer a non-profit lab tinkering with ideas. It's a central figure in the global AI race, backed by billions, wielding massive influence, and accelerating toward the future. Its tools are reshaping how we work, learn, and interact. Its breakthroughs are rivaled only by Google DeepMind, Meta, and Anthropic. Its vision for AGI could define the next century if it succeeds. But OpenAI's path is also one of contradictions: transparency versus secrecy, idealism versus capitalism, safety versus speed. Can it maintain its mission while navigating the demands of investors, regulators, and public scrutiny? What's clear is that OpenAI isn't slowing down. With models like GPT-5 rumored on the horizon and tools like autonomous AI agents in active development, the next chapter of OpenAI could be even more transformative than the last. Whether it fulfills its promise or becomes a cautionary tale remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure: OpenAI isn't just shaping technology, it's shaping the future of humanity. And if you found this story insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into tech and innovation, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.